Hi friends, I'm Nancy Jacobs from Embroidery It at embroideryit.com. And I so wish we could all get together and embroider and stitch together and just have a great time. But this is the next best thing. We're going to have a little embroidery party here. Today, we're going to make Embroidery It's newest design, and it's these little Valentine treat bags. And this uses the fun reverse applique technique that I've used on different designs that is so fun and easy. Here you can see it says love. I filled it with M&Ms, and I've used clear vinyl so you can peek through. You can use, if you don't have vinyl, you could use tulle or netting or organza, or you could even use a coordinated, like a solid red fabric. Does it if you don't want it to be see-through. So anyway, let's get started. We're just going to stitch this out on the machine so you can see just how easy and fun it is. I'm going to start by showing you the things that you need. Your ingredients list. Here's your supply list. And we need 2 pieces of fabric, and these are cut at 5.5 inches by 9.5 inches. So 5.5 by 9.5, 2 pieces of fabric. Next you need the piece for the design, and so I used clear vinyl, and like I said, you could use something else, but this is a 4.25 inch square. And the third thing you're going to need is a piece of ribbon to tie the bag closed, and this is 20 inches of ribbon here. You'll need your 5x7 hoop. This requires 2 hoopings to make the bag, so you'll need 2 pieces of lightweight tearaway stabilizer for your hoopings. And let's get started, shall we? We'll get the hoop on the machine, and this is really important. You're going to be stitching the back side of your bag first, okay? So because we're going to unhoop that and then put it on our second hooping. So that's key. So the back side first, and instead of love, we're going to do a single heart. That's one of the designs in the set. All right, get our machine ready to go. Another thing that's handy to have is some painter's tape. I always keep this close to my embroidery machine. All right. And so you guys can see, I'm going to tilt I videotaped this on my laptop, and so I'm going to tilt the screen down so you all can watch here as it stitches out. And what it has stitched out is a placement line. And we're going to take one of our pieces of fabric, but you know what? I didn't tell you how to prep it. You've got your 2 pieces of fabric here that are 5.5 by 9.5, but you need to fold them down and press them. And so the first thing we do, and you do this on both pieces, you're going to fold it down by 3/4 of an inch, and then you're going to fold it down a second time. And when you fold it that second time, this should measure 7 inches now. So your first fold it 3/4 of an inch under, and then your second fold it so that it's 7 inches long now. All right, we're going to now lower the computer screen again so you can see. And you always are going to be stitching on the right side of the fabric, and we're going to put the fabric so it lines right up with that placement line that we just stitched, and the fabric will extend just a little bit past each side of that placement line. So that fold, that top fold, we got the right side of the fabric up, the top fold there is right on the line. I'm going to tape it in place. You probably wouldn't have to do that, but I'm going to just so we're sure. And now it's going to stitch the casing where the ribbon is going to go. Actually, it's not a true casing because we're putting buttonholes in to run the ribbon through the buttonholes rather than through an actual casing. And I'm using white thread for everything. The white thread matches my fabric, and so there's no need for me to change the color of the thread. Okay. And the final stitch are the buttonholes for the back side of the fabric, for the back side of the bag. My little machine here does not clip jump stitches, so that is something I'm going to have to do kind of throughout the process, is to clip the jump stitches. I'm stitching, this is my Brother 1250D. Its largest hoop size is 5 by 7. It's really just one above their base model. Their base model is a 4 by 4, and this is a combination sewing and embroidery machine. And this is how I got started with embroidery. I'll tell you a little bit about that as we continue on with the front of the bag, and there's more stitching. I'll tell you the story how I got started in embroidery. Okay, that finishes the back side of our bag. So we're going to remove the hoop from the machine, and we will completely unhoop this. We're going to set it aside. Now push the machine back so I can rehoop my stabilizer for doing the front of the bag. Again, just a lightweight tearaway stabilizer is perfect. And let me get my correct design on the machine here. Upload that. And the first thing that it's going to stitch are the placement lines. It's going to stitch where to put that fold, as well as our heart, where that goes. See that lovely jump, that lovely stitch I have to clip because my machine does not clip jump stitches. Okay, let me take this off. I want to get rid of those thread on both the front and the back. Because we don't want that seen. And the next thing I'm going to do is where the heart is, I'm going to place my clear vinyl over the heart, and I'm going to tape it in place. Put a couple pieces there. This is why it's called reverse applique. We put down the applique design goes down first, over, and then over it goes the top cover piece. All right, so now we've got our vinyl, our clear vinyl in place. And I'm going to take the second piece of fabric. Again, we folded it down our 3/4, and then we folded it down again to make 7 inches. This one also goes right up there along that placement line. And again, it extends just about 1/4 of an inch. The fabric will extend about 1/4 of an inch past each side of the placement line. So you just kind of center that. Doesn't have to be perfect. You can eyeball it. And I'll put a piece of tape there and a little piece down here at the bottom. Get that tape to stick. All right. And now it's going to stitch those top 2 lines, and it's going to stitch the heart. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to remove the hoop from the machine, but do not unhoop your fabric. And I'm going to turn my machine out of the way so you can see me here now. So, first off, clip the little jump stitches. And now I can see the stitched heart here in the center, and so now I love these scissors. I love these little snip scissors. This is what I'm going to use to clip out the center of the fabric here. And these little scissors, they're just as sharp as can be, and they go quick. So I was going to tell you here how I got started in machine embroidery. I had a Bernina that my parents bought used for me when I was 16 years old. And it had been used in home economics class. It did 8 stitches, and I had sewn miles and miles and miles on that machine. And so it was finally time It had seen its better days, and I said to my husband that I was ready for a new machine, but I wanted something to do monogramming. So here you can see I have removed the fabric. I could at this time go ahead as well and remove the stabilizer that's behind the heart, but I'm going to wait until I've finished stitching out the heart and I'm ready to remove it from the hoop, just so I don't accidentally mess something up. So let me turn my machine back around here, and the next bit that it's going to stitch is the decorative stitch around the heart as well as the buttonholes. And while it's stitching, this was our initial piece, the back side, I'm going to go ahead and tear away the stabilizer. So anyway, I told my husband, I said I would like a machine that could do monogramming. But little did I know, to get a machine to do monogramming, I'd have to have a full-fledged embroidery machine. So that is what led me to my brother. I did my research. I went to dealers. I found a dealer that I really liked, a sewing machine dealer, and then I took my husband in and I said, you know, I'd be happy with that machine that just does that has the 4x4 hoop. I said, I just want to do a little bit of monogramming, that's all. And the best thing my husband ever said is it wasn't that expensive to go from a 4x4 to the 5x7 hoop, which I have here. The best thing he said is, let's just spend a little extra money and get the one with the 5x7 hoop. And then to go larger was a big jump in price. And I'm so grateful that he said that, because I have enjoyed this machine so much. So many things can be done on the 4x4 and the 5x7 that I would have been feeling really left out if I had a 4x4. So if you're looking at a new machine, consider getting one that has at least a 5x7 hoop. Now we're stitching out the buttonholes. Again, remember this is stitching on the right side of the fabric here. Isn't embroidery fun? There's just so many creative and fun things you can do with your embroidery machine that I tell you, when I took my machine home and I took it out of the box, instead of sewing on it, the very first thing I did on this little machine was I stitched out, I got an old tea towel and I stitched out one of the built-in embroidery designs on this machine. The very first day I got the machine home. I didn't know anything about stabilizers or anything like that, but I tell you what, I just thought it was the coolest thing to see the embroidery machine do its job. It's like, oh my goodness, from day one I was hooked on machine embroidery. Just about at the end here. This is the last little buttonhole. Okay. I want to clip this jump stitch right here. And the rest of them I'll clip later. All right, now for our final stitching, we take, this is the back that we sewed first in our first hooping, and we line it right up and just match the fold. If you just match the fold, and you're going to be perfect. This top line, the fold to the fold, we're going to tape it in place. I'm going to tape it a couple more times down here just so it stays good, because it's going to stitch all the way around. There, that should do it. And we're ready. The folds are lined up perfectly, and we are good to go. And that's the end. I maybe could have used a couple more pieces of tape here, but this is fine. Now, let's take it out of the hoop. Let's move the machine to the side again, so you can see here. Hoop. And we're going to some more of these little threads off, tear away the back stabilizer, and the other place we want to be sure to tear it away is here where that clear vinyl was. And so I'm going to carefully get under there so I can tear that. And then I can just tear it right out from the heart. The rest of that stabilizer around the outside there can stay in place. The other thing that I want to do, because I'm going to now turn this right side out, is I like to cut the corners just a little bit. Be careful not to cut into your stitching, but it just gets rid of some of that excess bulk at the corners. So if you trim the corners just a little bit, now it's time to turn this right side out. Take the time to poke my corners just a little bit better. But here is your bag, and then all you have to do is clip through the little buttonholes to open them up. Feed your ribbon through the buttonholes, fill your bag, and you are good to go. So, all right. Thank you for stitching with me. Oh gosh, I need to put some things on my walls. They're blank back there. But thank you for stitching with me, and until next time, make it a great day. Be creative daily and live life beautifully. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye now.